This is part 3 of the Don't Revive Me Bro Battlefield Community Podcast.
You know, Colin, I just wanted to bring just one more point really quick. I wanted to point out on this topic, really, because I feel like it has been a sensitive issue, and that is that as much as I would love to take credit for Quantic Media, it really wasn't my idea. It really was the guys on the team that are doing it. They really have the passion for it, and they really feel like that's something that they want to do. Mm-hmm. And it is a different crew, no pun intended. I mean, the folks on the casual side of the YouTube community in Battlefield, they really do enjoy playing casually. Like you said, everybody wants to see these guys have drinks on Saturday night and go into the pubs and, this kind of, it's very entertaining. They love it. That's what they like to play. That's what they like to do. And at the same token, some of the other folks on the other side, they kind of feel like they wanted to do the competitive thing. They're attracted to that. They want to do the crazy stunt kind of video takes where literally these guys stay up all night sometimes doing shoots. This is the kind of thing that they're doing, tuck joust and stuff like that. It's ridiculous stuff. And I think it was just a natural gravitation. It certainly was never that, I think that there was any intent to try to separate people in any way. And I know from our side that we feel strongly that we really want there to be unity and we want people to be able to work together in a positive way. Mm-hmm. That's very important to us. We think it's very important to the community. I think that if we allow things like that to get in the way of what we're doing as a community, that the entire community suffers, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, and everyone just needs to understand that different people in the YouTube community are partnered with different outlets and working with different parent channels or whatever, but
nobody's making any money right now.
Nobody's making any money, and it's not relevant. It's really not relevant, right? We all still play together, we game together, we're friends, and if there's been any rifts, then we're definitely working them out. So there's
and Blink, I love you, Blink. I do, man. He's a great guy, So I mean, it's just I think we're gonna come on the other side of this thing, and we're all gonna be strong together. I think that's what needs to happen. Either that's what's gonna happen, and I hope it does.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right on. So, I think that we're in a place right now. So, why at that go to the stream questions? Yeah, and just why you guys are asking questions. I guess I'll kind of get Vic's point of view on this. Before people get into Battlefield 3 and before they know which console they want to play on, what can people do in Bad Company 2 right now to get ready to play competition Battlefield 3? Is there anything they can practice on right now?
I think just teamwork. Play with your friends instead of going out there lone wolf. Actually get into squad. Get with some friends. Actually get some call-outs going. Know the maps. It's going to only help you in the future. I mean, if you're a lone wolf running out there by yourself, camping or whatever, it's not going to do any team any good. So if you're going to get prepared for the next game, I say just start playing on teamwork. It's working on teamwork.
Okay. And do you agree, Josh? Like it's kind of more working on playing with a bunch of people and getting callouts down, or can you actually learn to quick scope and that would help you become a better player as well?
No, that doesn't benefit the team at all. Like Vic said, in order to be prepared for competition on Battlefield 3 or any other game possibly, it's teamwork. Learn how to communicate with each other, learn how each other plays, get a better chemistry and all that. Without teamwork for Battlefield, really, you're gonna lose because teamwork is what the game is about. Like for Call of Duty and all that, basically one person can carry a team in a pub match and all that. But if you're talking about Battlefield, you can't do that. You need teamwork and, to do the call-outs and just, chemistry. So in order to be prepared for the competition in Battlefield 3, teamwork is the main point. You have to just have it all jot down and have it all like that.
The gameplay is going to be different. So there's no point practicing your gameplay on this game. Teamwork will be the same. So might as well work on teamwork.
I think the mechanics will be similar too. Don't you think so?
I don't know. Looking at the video so far, I'm not really sure on that. It looks
Yeah.
The mechanics to me have looked somewhat similar to Medal of Honor.
To Medal of Honor, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
I made a video about that and got flamed hard. Battlefield 3 better be nothing like Medal of Honor. That game sucked, and I'm like, that's not what I was saying at all. I felt that the gunplay mechanics look similar, and that's why
I think it's a hybrid. It's more Medal of Honor mixed with Bad Company 2, like a little baby.
And the animation is actually incorporating the ANT technology, the ANT technology from EA. So it could be a completely different beast altogether. So
did you guys ever see the Hurt Locker? It's like being inside the Hurt Locker. That's what those trailers look like to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that every player, every good player, always adjusts to the guns. Whenever you start playing a new game, the guns are never a problem. If you're a good player and you have good reflexes, it won't be a problem. The difference between a COD player or a BF player, I think, is much more of the res awareness, because the ability to instantly revive your teammate is something that most games don't have. And I noticed that when COD players come over, they can shoot and they have a good shot, but they're just not used to that quick resing and the quickness of the map and how it moves. That's what differentiates between BF players and COD players.
Yeah, when Call of Duty is point and shoot, it's a gun game, and you bring your gun skill, you can win a gunfight. I mean, in Call of Duty, Battlefield, like, I can still gain a tactical advantage over a 15-year-old who has far superior gun skill.
And also, you got to think there's vehicles.
Big difference. Yeah, and there's vehicles. And everybody thinks, in the Call of Duty, they say, what about you got a tank? It's not fair. I'm like, yeah, you got J Force Dog with a recon kit and some C4, man. He'll make you pass that tank on. You just leave it there. You'll be like, forget that, dude. Get the tank, boom. It's not worth it. There were some questions here about lag issues in GB. Chris,
I was going to mention that.
Mm-hmm.
So being a GB admin over both Battlefield, Bad Company 2 arenas, and a ban admin, I can tell you that lag has been a big topic. And there's been a lot of concerns and questions and proposals around rules that we might change for handling lag. This is an example of where we could really use some help from the developer. Basically, the way that the servers work, because they're dedicated servers and because you cannot connect to a specific server, a server browser, nor can you lease, rent, or buy your own console server, which you actually can do in some other games. You join a lobby, which is effectively hosted on the console of the hosting player, and then you're transferred to a server in the data center that's closest to that player based on load. So if you're in North America, you go to Virginia. Okay? Now, the way that it works is, every time you do that, you might end up potentially on a different server, on a different system that's loaded differently. So you can't effectively do a lag test and then back out and regroup the lobby and then go back in again, because you've nullified the lag test. So what the teams have been doing, in fact, if you were watching the stream with Anarchy Super V, you noticed him RPGing the ground a lot and killing himself and driving off of the edges of it. They're like, wow, this is a playoffs match? That's a little bit peculiar. That is how they have been forced to do a lag test now, folks. They basically go into the map, they check it out, they see if it's good, and then one side caps all 3 flags and the other side suicides until the ticket count is down, and then the match starts. This means that they have to enter from the opposite team.
I'm sorry about that, but I think the GB rule has to be changed, because it doesn't make sense to lag test on a different map when you have dedicated servers on Bad Company 2. You're pretty much going to a new server after your lag test. You're testing on a different map.
So it makes things more difficult, because they have to basically set the teams up now so that the hosting party actually sets themselves on the opposite teams, and then they go in and they do this thing, and then they flip back, and then the match starts. And it's kind of like it elongates things, which is already long actually, and it complicates things, and it creates a lot of difficulties for these guys. So I think that if there was a way for them to do a lag test mode, for example, or something of that nature, where 15 tickets. Bam, you're done, right? I mean, in Black Ops, there's so many settings you can control: respawn times, everything you can possibly imagine, and turning equipment on and off and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that's something that the developer could help us on, especially on console. I mean, just because we're on console doesn't mean that we lack the sophistication to handle the additional settings granularity that PC, for example, has. But they only have that on the server side too, so that's important to mention. What other questions do we have here? Claim that PC is the priority. What about consoles? There's going to be a lot of people moving to PC, guys. PC is going to be beast in Battlefield 3. 64 players. Can you see the 32 on 32 $200,000 LAN? I can see it. I can see it coming. But console's still going to be strong. It really is. I think it's 24 players. It's just the hardware can't do it.
Yeah, for sure. And console, I mean, they need console to be able to make their sales. I mean, that's just how the way it is. So
now, once again, though, I would assert that, and you can strike me down if you wish, but I would assert that the Battlefield playing community right now would rather see a little bit less full-scale buildings collapsing and have 32 players on the console than 24. Just me, just my guess. Since we're doing completely different maps for consoles anyways, and they're completely different sizes, and they're completely different everythings, could be possible, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I doubt it will.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to make it the same game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. And the same experience. I think that's really what DICE is driving, is the experience of the thing. They wanted that to be as uniform as possible, and they did a fantastic job with that in Bad Company too. I mean, it really plays well on all three systems. I mean, you have to have a beast of a PC to play it, but I mean, if you have the required specs, it plays very well on all three. I think that's what they're trying to do with Bad Company 2, and I think it's difficult to explain and understand the sophistication of what they're doing with this engine.
Mm-hmm.
They are making their own engine. Call of Duty licenses this stuff from other people, and it's the whole 9 yards, and it's not even written by them. And this gives DICE a level of creative control that nobody else has, and that's not only a competitive advantage, but it's also something artistically unique and spectacular. I think that's part of the reason why so many people love this game.
Yeah, we spoke about that in the last podcast. It's just such a different experience with destructible environments and everything else. So,
and the spawn mechanics, and the way revives and ammo and repairs and vehicles, and you have to actually fly the helicopter, not just be a gunner and kill people. I mean, everything in Call of Duty is based on the concept that you kill people and then good things happen. And you can basically not kill people the entire match in a Battlefield match and just be the guy who provides ammo and contribute to the team's win. I think that's the one thing I gained more than anything else from Mark Remo's initial video that he did about the how not to be a noob. That was such a great video, a very entertaining one. But he said, it's more like the electric slide. Just because you're the beast player, you're not going to take your team to the end. So I think that's important too. Yeah. What other questions do we have?
Kind of questions for everybody. I guess we'll start with you, Josh. What's the most challenging game that you've had in recent memory, and what was your favorite video game from back in the day?
I'd say most challenging match would be the finals for the first season against Show No Mercy. It was a 8v8 Conquest, and they're a really good Conquest team too. So that was pretty much the most challenging, since they also know what they're doing. Some of them have came from recent clans and they just merged, so they do know on how to play, how to communicate, and all that. So they did have all that stuff down pat. But we've been together longer, 6 years now, and we just overpowered them basically. But I'll say, Show No Mercy would be the most challenging match we had for Conquest. And my favorite game from back in the day, I'll say Battlefield 2 Model Conduct on PS2.
Very cool. Aaron, same questions.
I probably have to say the World Cup that the 8v8 World Cup was not really just a difficult opponent, just an entire difficult event. You played 4 rounds on 2 maps, 2 of them being on European servers, 2 of them being on North American servers, so you had to deal with a lot of ping issues and stuff like that on the PC. So the teams that we played there were the top teams from all over Europe, Russian, France, whatever, and Epsilon is one of the all-star teams from Europe that we ended up playing the finals against, and that was probably one of the more intense matches that we've been in. It was really close, and we barely squeaked out a win. As far as favorite games in the past, I don't know if anybody here knows PlanetSide, but it was one of my favorite ones from back in the day. It was a MMO FPS that I still got a special place for.
Very cool. So, Synergy, quick question, why doesn't Quantic have an MLG Halo team?
That's a really good question, actually. The third component of our model is basically corporate partnerships and building a brand and being able to communicate effectively to an audience. And I think that we're focusing right now on trying to build competitive Battlefield in the Battlefield community. I have full confidence that that's going to start to take care of itself as we move towards the release of Battlefield 3. And I think that probably, and this is initial, but probably summertime maybe, we might be looking at diversifying our portfolio of talent a little bit more to be able to be more effective and more attractive to corporate partnerships. I think that's important. I think that what we've found so far is that having good partnerships and having good people to work with really helps. I mean, there is no competition in this community. Does that make sense? Anybody who thinks that this is a limited resource environment is insane. This is an emerging young industry with tremendous potential, and it's extremely young still. And this is the ground level. We're standing on the ground floor right now. And I think that the people who realize that we should all work together and try to make this successful together, I think that's a big important message. My one message I would say to everybody in the community is success may not be mutual, right? But failure is, for sure. Like, if any of us don't succeed in making this community and gaming work, then it's not going to matter. It won't matter for any of us, right? I mean, like, what's happening in Korea, for example, with StarCraft is starting to take off here in the United States as well. Competitive gaming has a long way to go. I think that Sundance DiGiovanni's vision with MLG of redefining the image of the gamer in American society, from that of a couch potato, a lazy, sedentary person who can't manage their time and is in poor health, to being actually the folks that we're sending to these events, these young kids that are actually working extremely hard, expressing discipline and accountability and good communication skills and respect for one another, building character. I mean, these are the same types of things that you'd expect from any other non-athletic competitive activity. And that's really good for the entire ecosystem. And I think that we need to encourage that. So I would expect something in Halo. I think that's a natural extension. Other than that, though, it's all speculation.
Yeah, how far do you go? Like, do you kind of want to stay in the FPS genre, or do you want to go to StarCraft and everything else?
StarCraft is so big and it's so blown up right now that it's like, I just don't think we have a unique space in the marketplace, because we're the only real legitimate kind of competitive gaming organization that's providing the level of support that we are on the console side. The people who usually provide this kind of support are on the PC side, like the traditional folks like Evil Geniuses, SK Gaming, Complexity Gaming. Those are all big PC names. These are big brands. I mean, Evil Geniuses is sponsored by Intel, for example. And I think that that's kind of where we'd like to go, more from a standpoint of, they are coming to us right now because they're starting to become attracted to the console competitive area. But it's such a different group of folks. The community is a little bit foreign to them, and this is kind of our home. We know it. So I think that we have a home field advantage there, but at the same time, they clearly have they know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, do you have any special videos, people, anything you'd like to shout out for the live stream and for the podcast here?
I don't have too much. I'll give a shout out to Cassio and Vic, two of my teammates I've been sitting here in chat talking with as we did this cast. Been a lot of fun.
Excellent.
I'll just give a shout out to my whole clan, Army of Beasts, and thanks for always being there. And look, thanks to Army of Beasts, this is what we have became, and good family. And thanks to Synergy and everything.
And I think we've lost Vic, so Synergy, we'll turn it over to you.
I just, it's like being at the Academy Awards, as people go up there and they say way too much, I mean, I don't think that we'd even be here if it wasn't for Chris. I think he's been a pillar of light in this entire community, I think, from all angles. I think he does a fantastic job. Way underappreciated, way overworked. Definitely shout out to Chris. And I have to say the same thing for the league, MLG, for Astro Gaming, EG, and for all of our friends in the competitive gaming community on both sides of the fence, the aisle, if you will. Especially DCRU and Pixelenemy, and the crew that's doing Quantic Media, Masteth and Enigma and Patwa. And we just hope to continue to be honored to be a positive force in this community, in this space, and we appreciate everything, all the support everybody's providing us, and we really feel like if you come over to join us and for a game or two, and definitely it's a different experience, if you're that kind of serious player. I don't think that Don't Revive Me Bro and us are in any kind of membership competition in any way. I think can we look at each other as very good friends? So definitely share the happiness, share the love, share the wealth.
Sure. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, guys, this has been episode 15 of the Don't Revive Me Bro Battlefield podcast. Again, I'd like to thank Synergy and everybody else for coming on. It really opened our eyes for the competitive side of Battlefield. I know a lot of people had questions about it. Everybody else can check out the site, don'trevivemebro.com. You can check out our last podcast with Daniel Matros, a.k.a. Zinto, the DICE Battlefield Community Manager. He answered a lot of questions about Battlefield 3 as much as he can at this early stage. And check out everything else that we've got going on the site.
This has been another episode of Don't Revive Me Bro, your Battlefield community podcast. Take care until the next time.